After going through all of the colligative property, now I'm moving ahead in this chapter, moving towards the next topic, that is abnormal colligative property. This is somewhat related to the previous one. So, if we want to understand this topic more clearly, we should have the knowledge of all of the colligative properties, so that we could understand what the abnormality has been observed in the colligative properties. So let's start our explanation with abnormal colligative property. As I have previously told, that colligative properties are all those properties which depends upon the number of solute present in the solution. It doesn't depend upon the nature of solute. So, keeping this in mind, let's know about the abnormality in the colligative property. We seen four colligative property: relative lowering in vapor pressure, then elevation and boiling point, after that depression and boiling point, and the last one is osmotic pressure. In all of these colligative properties, one thing is clear, that these all are proportional to number of solute in the solution. Colligative property is proportional to number of solute. It varies according to number of solute in the solution, and these all colligative properties are used to calculate the molecular mass of the solute. This colligative property used to calculate molecular mass of solute. But the abnormality which is observed in the colligative property leads to abnormal molar mass. If there would be any abnormality in the colligative property, then ultimately the molar mass which we have calculated would not be a real one, it would be abnormal molar mass. One thing is clear, that if there would be abnormality in the colligative property, then it would ultimately give abnormal molar mass. Then the question arises, that what is the reason why the colligative property is showing abnormality? The reason is hidden in the answer, that the solute might have shown some of the changes, and that changes may be the solute have shown association. There might be association of solute, or there might be dissociation of solute. It means three situation arises. One is, if solute neither associated nor dissociated. I mean to say that if a container is containing a solution, if a solution is present over here, so it must be containing some solute also. So if the solute present over here haven't shown any association, or it has not even dissociated, the particle of solute which is present in it doesn't associated in themselves, neither it dissociated. So if the solute present in the solution have neither associated nor dissociated, then what would happen? There would be no change in the colligative property. Colligative property would not show any of the abnormality. There would not have been any abnormality in the colligative property, and since there is no abnormality in the colligative property, so the molecular mass which is colligated will be exact. It would be correct molecular mass. It means the observed and calculated molecular mass would be same. Observed molecular mass equal to calculated molecular mass. So when this situation arises, it will arise when the solute present in the solution have neither associated nor dissociated. Then there would not be any abnormality in the colligative property, and the molar mass which is calculated would be exact, or we can say that the observed molecular mass would be same as calculated molecular mass. But the second thing is that if solute particle get dissociated, if the particle of solute present in the solution dissociated itself, this is a solution, it is containing some of the solute particle, and if the solute particle dissociated, then what would happen? Dissociation of solute particle would increase the number of particle would increase in the solution, and due to this the colligative property would change. The colligative property would change, then ultimately the molecular mass which is being calculated would not be the normal molecular mass, it would be abnormal molecular mass. Dissociated, then what would happen? Colligative property would change, means colligative property would show abnormality, then the molar mass which would be calculated would also be abnormal, it would be abnormal molar mass, or we can say that observed molecular or molar mass would not be equal to the calculated one, calculated molecular mass. Now the last case, if the solute particle has associated, if solute particle associated, means in the solution the particle of solute which is present get combined with each other, it associated with each other, then in this case also there would be abnormality in colligative property. Colligative property which we will calculate would be abnormal, and due to which the molecular mass would also be abnormal molecular mass. This molecular mass would be abnormal one, or we can say the observed molecular mass will not be equal to the calculated molecular mass. So this is the situation arises in the case of colligative property, whether the particle has associated or dissociated, or it has neither associated or dissociated. If there would be association or dissociation of the solute particle, then abnormality would be observed. If there would be neither association nor dissociation, then no abnormality would be seen. Now one important term over here is Van 't Hoff's factor. Van 't Hoff factor denoted by small I. This Van 't Hoff factor tells about the relation between the normal colligative property and the abnormal colligative property. What does it tells? Tells relation between normal colligative property and abnormal colligative property. So we have to remember one term over here, that is Van 't Hoff factor. It tells about the relation between the normal colligative property and the abnormal colligative property. So how does it tell? Let's see. Van 't Hoff factors is equal to number of particle after association or dissociation. After association or dissociation by number of particle before association or dissociation. Number of particle before association or dissociation. This I is equal to number of particle after association or dissociation by number of particle before association or dissociation. Or I is equal to observed colligative property by calculated colligative property. Colligative property. One more thing, I is equal to calculated molecular mass. Calculated molecular mass by observed molecular mass. Observed molecular mass. So these three things are equal to one another. Number of particle after association or dissociation by number of particle before association and dissociation is equal to observed colligative property by calculated colligative property is equal to calculated molecular mass by observed molecular mass. Now let's see the case of dissociation of solute. We will start with the case of dissociation of solute. In the case of dissociation of solute, the number of solute particle would increase. Mostly the electrolytes, when it is put in the polar solvent, when electrolytes are put in the polar solvent, electrolytes are placed in polar solvent, then what would happen? They ionize or dissociate. Either there would be dissociation or they would split into ions. Ionization would take place. Any of the electrolyte, basically the electrolytes are the polar compounds, and if these electrolytes are put in the polar solvent, best polar solvent is water, and then this electrolyte will dissociate or ionize and will form more particles in the solution. There would be increase in number of particle, and as the number of particle is changed, the colligative property will also change. Colligative property of that solution will be increased. Colligative properties would increase, because we all know that colligative property depend upon number of particle, and due to dissociation, as the number of particle has been increased, so the colligative property will also be increased, and ultimately the molecular weight would decrease, as colligative property and molecular weight are inversely proportional to each other. They are inversely related to each other. So we can say that the molecular weight of the solute which can ionize will be less than its theoretical value, its calculated value. All those solute which can ionize, its molecular weight would be found less than its actual molecular weight. So we can conclude in this manner, as if there would be dissociation. If there would be dissociation of solute, then what would happen? Then number of solute in solution increase, and if the number of solute in the solution increase, then the observed या फिर experimental colligative property would be greater than calculated colligative property. Experimental या observed colligative property greater than the calculated colligative property. Also the observed या फिर experimental molecular mass will be less than the calculated या फिर normal molecular mass. This would be the result, and we have to keep in mind that colligative property is inversely proportional to molecular mass. If colligative property will increase, molecular mass would decrease. So the final conclusion is this that when there will be a dissociation in solute particle, then the observed molecular mass will be lower than the true value. This we have to keep in mind the final conclusion, that due to dissociation of solute particle, there will be decrease in the molecular mass. The true value of molecular mass will be decreased. Let's suppose that there is a solute AXBY. There is a solute AXBY which is present in the solution. Now, what happened? This solute is electrolyte in nature. This is electrolyte. So it get dissociated. It can dissociate. Due to dissociation, let's see what happened. AXBY on dissociation become XAY positive plus YBX negative. This is the dissociation. Initially, talking about initial case, when there is no dissociation, then this AXBY is 1 mole. क्योंकि initially there was no dissociation, so it would be 0 mole and it would also be 0 mole because till now no dissociation has took place. Now after dissociation, after dissociation, this AXBY would become less. It would become 1 minus alpha, and this would increase. It will become x into alpha, and this would become y into alpha. So here what alpha is, this alpha is over here degree of dissociation, extent of dissociation, डिग्री ऑफ किस डिग्री से, किस एक्सटेंट से सॉल्यूट में डिसोसिएशन हुआ है, ये अल्फा रिप्रेजेंट करेगा, अल्फा शो करेगा. सो नंबर ऑफ पार्टिकल, इफ वी विल से इनिशियली, टोटल नंबर ऑफ सॉल्यूट पार्टिकल, नंबर ऑफ पार्टिकल इनिशियली वो क्या थे, 1 मोल थे, 1 मोल ऑफ AXBY, बट आफ्टर डिसोसिएशन, after dissociation it would become 1 minus alpha plus x into alpha plus y into alpha. This is the number of particle after dissociation. And on simplifying this, taking alpha common, so this would be the number of particle after dissociation. So now we will apply this on the expression of Van 't Hoff factor which we have seen before. What was that expression? Van 't Hoff factor is equal to number of particle after dissociation by number of particle before dissociation. So number of particle after dissociation over here was 1 minus alpha plus n into alpha, and before dissociation it would be 1. This would be the value of I, Van 't Hoff factor. We will send this 1 over here, and finally this I will be equal to 1 minus alpha plus n alpha, I equal to, taking common, plus n minus 1 alpha. This would be the value of I. And here in this expression we are saying 1 plus something. If the value of I in case of dissociation is 1 plus something, it means that in case of dissociation, Van 't Hoff factor would be greater than 1 because there is something being added to 1. So in case of dissociation, dissociation I would be greater than 1. And example of such solute where I would be greater than 1 are electrolytes, example NaCl, KCl, BaCl2. These are some of the electrolytes whose Van 't Hoff factor would be greater than 1 because they would show dissociation in the solution. One note point which we have to keep in mind in the case of dissociation is that if the solute which we have taken is strong electrolyte, if the solute taken is strong electrolyte, then for strong electrolyte we all know that alpha will be equal to 100%. Alpha means degree of dissociation will be 100%, means the electrolyte will dissociate completely, and for this I would be equal to n. If we will put alpha equals to 100% over here in the expression, if we will put alpha equals to 100%, then what would be the result? It would be I equals to n. For all strong electrolyte, alpha is yani degree of dissociation is 100%, and for all that I would be equal to 1. Example, NaCl. In the case of NaCl, I would be equal to 2, as I is equal to n, and here n is equal to 2. In case of K2SO4, here I would be equal to 3. So in all of all of the strong electrolyte, it would be followed. So this is one of the important point which we have to keep in mind in the case of dissociation. Next point for this dissociation is the change in the expression of all the colligative property. All the colligative property which we have studied earlier, we have derived expression for each of the colligative property. We have derived expression for relative lowering in vapor pressure, we have derived expression for elevation in boiling point, depression in freezing point, osmotic pressure. Then what would be the change if we will include this Van 't Hoff factor in the expression? So the change would be like this: relative lowering in vapor pressure, Pa naught minus Pa by Pa naught will be equal to Nb by Na. This was the expression we have seen for the relative lowering in vapor pressure. This expression is without including Van 't Hoff factor, but as the Van 't Hoff factor has been introduced, then there would be change. We will multiply Van 't Hoff factor in this expression. Van 't Hoff factor will be multiplied over here. In the same case for elevation in boiling point, elevation in boiling point, delta TB expression was like that. It would be KB into M, but again over here we are seeing that Van 't Hoff factor is not included. So after including, it would become like this. We will multiply Van 't Hoff factor here. So in the case of depression in boiling point also, delta TF, sorry, depression in freezing point is equal to I into KF into M. And finally for osmotic pressure, if we will include Van 't Hoff factor, so it will become I into N by V into RT. So after including this Van 't Hoff factor, the changes which we will be observing in the expression will be like this: I, any Van 't Hoff factor, would get multiplied to all of the expression. Now this is what we have seen if there will be dissociation of solute. Now the next case, if there will be association of solute. The next case is association of solute. If the solute associate with themselves, for when two or more solute combine with each other, then there would be the formation of a bigger molecule. A big molecule will be formed because smaller solutes are combining, and uh, therefore it will result in the formation of the bigger molecule. And ultimately the number of particle in the solution will become less. It's obvious, the particle in the solution will decrease, and due to this decrease in number of particle, the colligative property will decrease, and as the colligative property will decrease, molar mass would increase, because molar mass and colligative property are inversely related with each other. So due to this association, number of particle would decrease in the solution. Due to this decrease in number of particle, colligative प्रॉपर्टीज, जितने भी कॉलिगेटिव प्रॉपर्टीज होते हैं वो भी डिक्रीज करेंगे, बिकॉज नंबर ऑफ पार्टिकल पे डिपेंड करता है कॉलिगेटिव प्रॉपर्टी. एंड इफ दिस कॉलिगेटिव प्रॉपर्टी विल डिक्रीज, देन द मॉलिक्यूलर मास will increase because these two are inversely related with each other. So this is what will happen in case of association of solute. So we can conclude over here that for association, in case of association, number of solute particle will decrease. Number of solid particle will decrease. So first point which we have to keep in mind is observe या फिर experimental colligative property will be lesser than the calculated colligative property. The second thing is that observed या experimental molecular mass will be greater than the normal molecular mass. This is the thing which we have to keep in mind in case of association of solute. So let's see that there is a solute. Suppose this is a solute Na. After association, this A solute combined with itself, lets its N particle combine together and form a bigger molecule. Initially, what we observed that it is one molecule, before एसोसिएशन इट इज जीरो, क्योंकि अभी एसोसिएशन हुआ ही नहीं है, ये बना ही नहीं है, तो ये जीरो है. आफ्टर एसोसिएशन, when association took place, then this will be decreased, it will become 1 minus alpha, and it would increase alpha by n. Now the total number of particle before association is equal to 1. Number of particle before association will be 1. Number of particle after association, it would be equal to 1 minus alpha plus alpha by n. This would be the number of particle after association. Now we will apply again the expression for Van 't Hoff factor. So it is number of particle after association by number of particle before association. I is equal to number of particle after association 1 minus alpha plus alpha by n, and before association it is equal to 1. We will send 1 over here. So the final expression would be I equals to 1 minus alpha plus alpha by n. This would be the final expression in case of association of solute. So in case of association, we can clearly say that I will be less than 1, because in the expression we have seen that there is something minus. I is being subtracted. I is found by being subtracting 1 minus something. So because of this, I would be less than 1 in case of association. And if this alpha is equal to 100%, here alpha is degree of association, In case of association, alpha represent the degree of association, and if this alpha would be equal to 100%, then I will be equal to 1 by n. This is the value of I when alpha would be equal to 100%. And finally, the expression of all of the colligative property will change in the same manner as it changed for the dissociation of particle. All of the expression would be multiplied with I. It means delta TB will be equal to I into KB into M. Delta TF will be equal to I into KF into M. Osmotic pressure will be equal to I into N by V into R into T, and relative lowering in vapor pressure PA naught minus PA by PA naught will be equal to NB by NA into I. It means I would be multiplied in all of the expression. So this is the last topic, that is association of the solute, and how the colligative property get affected due to the association or dissociation of the particle we have seen in all the cases above. Now we will define abnormal molar mass. What is this abnormal molar mass? The molar mass whose value is less or high than the expected molar mass. Molar mass whose value is less or high than expected molar mass is called abnormal molar mass. And all the molar mass which is expected molar mass or the normal molar mass, in this expected or molar mass is calculated by considering that there is no association or dissociation of the solute particle. Means all that molar mass which is expected or which is normal or which is calculated, these expected, normal or calculated molar mass is found on the basis that there is neither association or nor dissociation in the solute particle. But in actual, it is not necessary that the solute particle would not associate or dissociate. There might be some association among the solute particle, there might be some dissociation, so some of the abnormality is being absorbed. We can see some of the abnormality in the molar masses because of the association or dissociation. Now finally we have completed this chapter. This was the last video explanation of this chapter solutions. Now you all need to go through all of the explanation once again so that it could get all of the topic very much clear. Now the next thing which you need to do is that you have to go through your questions which have been provided at the back of the chapter, and also the in-text questions, so that you can also apply the concept over there. And if there would be any of the doubt, you might ask me for uh, assurance. So keep reading, keep learning. I would be explaining next chapter in the next video. So it's now your duty to perform all the tasks, read the chapter thoroughly, go to the explanation, and complete all the questions from anywhere you get of this chapter. If you need some extra questions, you can tell me. I could also provide questions so that you could clear your concept, because question solving is very important part of your study. Not only going through the explanation, you could get 100% clearance of the topic. You need to complete all the questions, so complete all the given questions at least of NCERT.